boys and girls. Today we are going to look at moving into what we've been waiting for, Quadrant 2 in the War with Grandpa. And so, again, it's important to know our goals for reading. We are going to be using some of our predicting skills to predict what's going to happen next. We always base our predictions on text-based evidence. So today we are using the stem that says, when the book said, because whatever the book said is our text-based evidence, okay? So when the book said blank, I made a prediction. I was thinking, and here is what you were thinking, is on this line in your mind. So this is a stem you're going to use. You're going to have something like this in your seesaw to type on, fill in after we've completed chapters 12 and 13. Okay, so that's the stem we're using. It goes along with our target. I will make predictions based on text evidence. The second goal we have is to use appropriate vocabulary to discuss the text. Often our new vocabulary and our vocabulary from previous lessons is put to use in our stems. And that's when we really get to deepen our understanding of those words. So today, our vocabulary word is conceal. And con, over here, means with. The seal part, which is underlined in green, it comes from a Latin word, celare, which means to appear, to hide, okay? So we know that conceal has to do with hiding something, with trying to hide. Think about that as we dig into our story and as we see how the author either has us infer that word or maybe even the characters in the story use it. All right. So if you have your book, please open to chapter 12, which is on page 39. If you don't have your book, pause the video, go get it, come right back so we can keep reading. Chapter 12, a little help from my friends. I don't care what you say, my friend Steve Mayer said. I think it stinks. Steve's right, Billy Alston said. Your grandfather is a room robber, and it isn't fair. By the way, Steve said, I'm invading Quebec. We were playing Risk, which is what we always played at Steve's house. Outside the living room window, it was raining like crazy. Steve is a Risk fanatic, or expert, or both. Billy and I can never beat him, but today I was doing especially bad, maybe because I wasn't paying close attention. Steve and Billy have been my friends ever since we met in kindergarten. Steve is taller than me and thinner, and he wears those horn-rimmed eyeglasses, maybe because he reads so much. Billy is a little shorter than both of us. He has crinkly red hair and thousands of freckles on his face. Okay, so good readers, just to review, we're always visualizing. Can you picture his friends? He's got a tall friend. He's got a red-headed friend. One of the friends wears glasses. If we're not sure, we look back. Oh, Steve is taller and thinner and wears glasses. He's the tall one. Maybe that'll help us visualize them in the rest of the story. Whenever Billy goes in or out, he always chins himself a few times. Billy can do 15 chin-ups. Can you picture that? And I know that because I once bet him he couldn't, and I lost a quarter. I can do 3.5 chin-ups. Steve can hardly do 1. Throw the dice, Steve said, and I did. Lost another army, of course, and Steve had one more territory of mine to control. Steve looked at me and he shook his head. You're such a dummy. Now, these are friends. I think he's just teasing him. Peter responds. He says, look, I said, he's my grandfather. What can I do? Put up a fight, Steve said. Stick up for your rights. I already have, I said. I won't let nobody take my room, Billy said. He made a fist and he slammed it into his other palm. Pow! Right in the nose. Oh, right, Billy, Steve said, winking at me. We both knew that Billy always talked tough like that, but the one time he had to face up to a kid in school, called Phil Stenkraus, he was as chicken as the rest of us. I'm trapped, don't you see? I said. I can't let my grandpa know how mad I am at losing my room. And if I can't even talk about it, What can I do? Okay, we're going to take a little minute here to think about that. When he says, we're going to practice using the stem is what we're going to do. So I will practice so you see how it goes with this prediction stem. Okay. So let me see. I want to think about what's going to happen next. So when the book said that Peter doesn't want to let his grandpa know how mad he is at losing his room, I made a prediction. I was thinking, that instead of talking to his grandpa, I was thinking maybe Peter will mope. And remember, mope was one of our vocabulary words that described grandfather in the first quadrant, where he was all glum and sad. And remember, mope meant grandpa was depressed, and moping around meant he was just glum and not happy at all. Okay, looked grumpy. Okay. So think to yourself, see if you can make up. This is a private reflection time. When the book said that Peter doesn't want to let his grandpa know how mad he is at losing his room, I made a prediction. I was thinking, okay, give yourself some think time. Pause the video right here. Okay. Now you've had a chance to think about it, or I hope you did. If you didn't, stop the video. You guys, it's important to think and make predictions. Okay. So we're going to keep reading. Wishy-washy, Steve said. What are you, a doormat? You can't let a room robber walk all over you, Billy said. Steve put down his fourth set of matched risk cards. So he's winning this game they're playing. He collected 10 more armies. On the board, he already controlled half the world, which meant the game wasn't going to last too much longer. He looked at me funny, and then a slow grin started to spread all over his face. Just got an idea, Steve said. Yes, sir, it just might work. I waited while the wheels turned around in Steve's head, so he gave Steve a chance to think. 1776, Steve said. Billy said, huh? The Yankees against the power of the British Army, Steve went on. Here come the redcoats, marching across the field in close formation. That's the way the British always fought. And what do the Minutemen do? They hide. They hide behind trees and rocks. And they shoot from behind cover, and then they keep moving. Well, what does this have to do with Grandpa? Billy asked. Steve sailed on. Do you know that the British complained that the Minutemen didn't fight fair? Fair? Steve, I began. The legend of Zorro, Steve went on, a rich and powerful man who fought the power of the king. He had to conceal. Ooh, guys, you listening? He's using our word conceal. Let's see if we can grow our understanding of the word conceal. Okay. Something about hiding. Okay. Zorro had to conceal his identity because to fight against the king meant certain death. So what did he do to keep the peasants against tyranny? He hid his face behind a mask. Ooh. That's a really good use of the word conceal, hiding behind a mask. So his face was concealed, just like you guys, we just had Halloween not that long ago, a month ago, right? And some of you wear costumes that conceal your identity because you wear a mask. So you look just like Elsa in Frozen or Batman or whichever person you choose to be, okay? Even if you're something scary, you're concealing your own identity. Ooh, Billy said, like Batman and Robin. Close, Steve said. What am I supposed to do? I asked. Get a sword and fight a duel? With Grandpa? Guerrilla warfare, Steve said, almost to himself. When you're trapped and there's no other way, you fight from behind the rocks. You conceal your identity. You're crazy, I said. It's the only way, Steve said. Think about it. Okay, so we have had a deeper understanding here of the word conceal. Concealing identity, hiding. Okay, so I wonder if I'm able to make a prediction and use vocabulary. You could pause this right now and think about it a minute. What do you think is going to happen next? Can you make a prediction? Okay. Hopefully you paused. You had a chance to think about it. Now you're back. So when the book said that Peter should conceal his identity and fight, I made a prediction. I was thinking that Peter might need some sort of a disguise. He might need to be sneaky. I'm not really sure exactly what he's going to do, but I think that he's going to have to hide and he's going to have to be sneaky in order to do this somehow. It's not like a fist fight. Somehow have this fight with Grandpa. It's going to be a sneaky fight, something tricky, something that involves concealing his identity. So he wants to do something, I think, so that Grandpa doesn't know that he did it. That could be it. I think we have to keep reading. All right, we're making progress, you guys. Here we go. We are now on page 43. We're beginning chapter 13. Okay. Guerrilla warfare. Hiding behind rocks and trees. Wearing a mask. I was lying up in my bed thinking about what Steve had said. It seemed crazy to me. And yet it made sense, too. I was certainly trapped. My family had taken my room away and hadn't given me a chance to fight back. Then I began to think about the people who fought in the Revolutionary days. Who were they fighting? The king. And the king was kind of a father to them, or maybe even a grandfather. He was certainly the biggest big shot of 1776, that's for sure. And yet they fought for their rights. They took a chance and they stood their ground at Lexington and Concord and fired the shot heard round the world. But you don't shoot your grandfather. Not in my family, anyway. It was hopeless. Then I got a funny thought. And still another one. And the whole idea of what I could do became clear to me. We're going to stop right there. Okay? So if you have your bookmark, put it right here. The next time we read, we will be reading chapter 14. So use your bookmark. That's what I'm going to do right here. Okay. So now when you go into your Seesaw today, you are going to see a couple slides. There's 2 Google slides. Okay. And they have, I've got to find it here. They have this stem on a template, and there's 2 of them. Two. Okay. Not 1 page, but 2. So there's a text there that says, and if I can't even talk about it, what can I do, from page 41, which we just talked about and you had some think time with. I know you did. If you didn't, rewind, go back, watch again. Okay. And the second slide has you making a prediction based on concealing his identity and fighting. Okay. So go ahead, log into your Seesaw. You have your video here, less than 15 minutes. You could go back and rewatch the whole thing or just watch the part that'll help you out with making your prediction and completing the stem. I have given you this time when the book said, I've typed that in. Okay, this part. And all you have to do is you have 1 text box to fill in after the I was thinking. And that's where your prediction goes. Okay, I think you can do it. Got faith in you guys. All right. If not, send me a message. I'll see what I can do to help. All right. We'll see you later. Until then, read on.